everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you on. This is Love the Real Hills. My name is Chris.
And I'm Renee.
And we love God. We love people. We love life. We love work. We love career. And we love hard, too. We really do. We really do. And we love being with you today. We want to just thank you for stopping in. We have a great show for you today. We have a great discussion that's lined up. Before we even get started, I'm going to ask you to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to ask you to hit that follow button. I'm going to ask you to hit that share button. And I want you to get ready. Jump in the comments. We got a big show today, and we're going to jump right in a moment. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about insecurity.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Battling insecurity.
Battling insecurity.
Yeah, this is a big one.
This is by request only.
This is a requested topic.
This is a topic that we've received from everywhere and from so many different people. And so we don't want to waste another moment. We want to jump right in. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about how do you battle insecurity.
Higher Level Denver is here. Join us as we go to the higher level. Higher Level Denver with Dr. Chris Hill.
But I'm about to get real free. Free in my mind, free in my body, free in my past, free in my future. I need a free person to give God a free praise right here.
We are friends of God, friends of man, and friends of humanity. Transform your life. Find your voice. Get ready to roar. Join Dr. Chris Hill at Higher Level Denver this Sunday at 10 a.m. Higher Level Denver at the Roar Center, 3035 South Parker Road, Aurora, Colorado, 80014. See all that we're doing on the web at www.higherleveldenver.org.
And we're back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, let's jump right into this crazy but yet very insightful topic we're going to discuss is battling insecurities.
And this is a big deal. I mean, this is one of our number one requested things that people wanted us to talk about. And it's one of the issues that I'm glad to talk about because when you're working with people, you're working with the public, very often what you're seeing is a lot of insecurity on display. Insecurity in two shoes. Walking around, living life insecure. So the first question they ask is, how do I define insecurity? Okay. And my definition is a little bit different than most people, but I define insecurity as the result of where you were dropped.
Dropped on your head?
Dropped on your head, dropped on your heart, dropped in your expectations, dropped in your dreams, dropped in the promises that it's a drop. When we're anatomizing somebody's psyche and really spiritually and emotionally evaluating, we're trying to go back and see, okay, where's the drop? What was the disappointment? When I say drop, I mean the disappointment. I mean the promise that somebody made to you. I mean the commitment. Very often it can be a parental drop or a parent or a guardian or someone who was in that position where you trusted them and they dropped you. And as a result of that drop, you're now living your life in some areas where you are always braced for the drop. It's like you're bracing for the hit. Okay, somebody tells you that they love you, and instead of your heart melting, you're putting that shell on because someone else told me they love me and they dropped me, and so from here on out, I'm gonna be as strong as I possibly can be because I'm actually insecure. And very often it's living a life that is just, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and because you've been dropped. You're waiting for it to go wrong. So you're on the job, you're doing great, but you're insecure on the job because you were doing great at the other job and they still came and laid you off. And so now you're insecure. You're in a new relationship. You got past the old relationship. You're in a new relationship, but here you are, you're still looking at that person funny, you know, and you need all their passwords, and you need all their passwords. You need access to their phone. You need access to their pager. I mean, you need access to everything. And because you're still insecure as a result of what you've been through. And this is one of the things that is such a challenge for us. Okay, this is such a challenge for us, is because when you're insecure, we don't allow people into our lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's so when we're going back, we're looking for the drop. We're actively seeking, okay, what happened? Maybe you were 4 years old and someone was supposed to come up and take you out. Someone was supposed to, maybe you had a parent that had promised to be at your games, and you're looking up in the stand and they're never there. And that can create a root of insecurity within you. So now you feel like, I can't count on people. I can't trust people. I got to do everything on my own. And so insecurity can hide under the guise of independence.
Oh, that's good.
Okay? Insecurity can hide under the cover of independence, where I'm an independent person. I don't need nobody. No, you're just insecure. And if we really go back and look at it, we'll find out where that root is, and we can fix it, because human beings are not designed to be independent. Okay? Life is a team sport.
He's hitting a lot of points here.
No, we just started. I hear so many people tell, I'm an independent woman. I don't need no man. I'm an independent. I can do this by myself. No, you can't. No, you can't. We're not designed to live alone. We're not designed. Now, I don't care if you're an introvert or an extrovert. I don't care how you've been that way. My wife is an extreme extrovert, and I'm actually an introvert. But my job has taught me how to have extroverted skills. But either way, regardless of how you recharge, whether you recharge with people or you recharge in silence and alone time, that's all the definition of an introvert or an extrovert is. It doesn't matter. You're not designed to live by yourself. You're not designed to be totally independent. And so when I hear people singing that song, all I'm hearing is the melody of insecurity. And then I'm asking the question, who dropped you and when? How early was it? How late was it? Because as a result of that drop, now you've shelled up and you built these walls. And now the walls that you built to protect yourself have now become the walls that imprison you. And so when God sends you people into your life to team up with, to work with, and they run into all these walls of your own insecurity and you pushing them away. I don't need no help. I can do it. Are you okay? I'm fine. Then why are you bleeding from both your eyes? Okay. And I'm fine. I got this. No, you're just insecure. And if we go back and see where the drop was, we can diagnose that, fix it, so that you can live a life that's more fulfilled. Okay? Now, so it's not like God wants us to be weak.
No.
Okay? But he wants to be on a team. Because life is a team sport.
It is. I agree.
How early did your daughter walk?
Ooh, early. Earlier than most.
How, do you remember?
She was younger than... When's her birthday? April, March, February, January, December, November. So she started walking about 10 months.
10 months. Okay. Usually
10 and a half
9
months.
Some people's baby walks at 6 months. That's a big...
Like walks by themselves?
Well, they start bouncing.
She started all that way early, but fully
crawling.
Walking by herself in her shoes, hold my hand, she can walk.
Right.
Walk across,
right.
by herself.
10 months.
About 10 months.
My boys, one was 9 months and the other one was, 11 months. He's lazy, okay? Still lazy.
Lazy.
Okay. But my point is, have you ever seen an animal get born in the wild?
Yes.
They walk
Instantly.
in minutes. Everything else in nature is born swimming, running,
Feeding itself.
or walking. And in most cases, they can start feeding themselves quite instantly. Birds have to be in the nest. It takes a while for them to get there. But they're one of the few. But even that is weeks. Only the human species is just completely born helpless
For
almost a year. Because we're born to be interdependent. We're created to be interdependent. We're created to live within the confines of community. Okay, baby whale comes out swimming and eating fish. Okay, giraffe, them long legs work in 10 minutes. Okay, baby calf comes out mooing and ready to eat some grass. Okay, and if its mother is there, it'll drink the milk. But if not that mother, there's others in its community that it can also nurse from. This is something that's really, really different about the human species, is that we're created to be interdependent. But what do you do when the system that you're counting on and the network that you're born into drops you, disappoints you? They don't show up. They're not there. They're not helpful. Maybe they're toxic. Maybe they're abusive. And this drop creates legitimate insecurity. That's one of the things I want to say here, is that when you're battling insecurity, sometimes your insecurity is justified because you got hurt. You were injured. It was painful. Your pain is real, okay? But we can't live in the pain of our past to the point where we hijack our own future. And that's why we have to deal with our insecurities. That's why we have to deal with the language of our insecurity and begin to rewrite the narrative. Our own inner narrative has to change. Our own, how we talk to ourselves and how we look at things has to change if we're going to walk past insecurity and then walk into some help.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense
Okay.
to me.
Okay. How do I identify? This is another question we got, is how do I identify if I'm being insecure?
Oh, I got something.
You want to jump on? Okay.
As you were talking, I was starting to write stuff down because this is a big one, especially
Huge.
for women. I can speak from a women's perspective on identifying. I work with people all the time. I work with kids too. And so I can see those insecurities starting to develop even when they're younger. And so I've kind of structured my way of interaction to kind of like cancel out that beginnings of insecurity from when they're younger. But with the people I'm dealing with who are older and adults now,
Right.
and, you know, going through life and job and family and work and, you know, life, it's a little harder to cancel those insecurities out. And, but I have figured out a few ways to identify.
Okay.
First one, the constant need for individual attention.
Wow. Say that again.
Constant need for individualized attention.
Right.
This is the person who doesn't want to be in a group setting. Not because they're an introvert.
Right.
Because they want all this one-on-one time, because in group settings you discuss amongst the group, you talk about the good, the bad amongst the group, so other people are privy to areas where you may or may not be as efficient, or where you may have some downfalls. They're okay if it's all positive.
Right.
But because there may be points where there may be some constructive criticisms
Yeah.
and things like that,
Yeah.
they really would prefer individualized attention, individualized communication, individualized correction, individualized anything that may point out an area where they may have a weakness or an insecurity.
Wow.
They rather not do it. So these are the people who every time, in the work world, I have to do a lot of conference calls and Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
They don't want to be on the Zoom meeting and turn on their camera.
Okay.
That's an insecurity.
You feel like that's insecurity.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. These are the people in an in-person meeting. They will try their best to get out of it. They will come up with any excuse. Oh, I can just submit my information, that way nobody else has to see.
Right.
If there is a problem, it can be addressed directly with them. These are the people who in like team sports, they don't handle when the coach like calls them out on their mess up.
Right.
You missed the free throw.
Right.
Not the team.
Right.
You missed the free throw shot.
Okay.
Get it together. Work on your form. Bend your knees. They don't like that kind of stuff. But that's an insecurity. And a secure person accepts both the constructive criticism
Right.
and the applause.
Right. Wow.
They can take both, and they handle it well, and they don't take it as a personal attack.
Right.
They take it as a learning experience or a way to growth.
Wow.
That's another way.
Now, before you move on, that's because that's huge. That's a big deal. Okay.
Which part?
In terms of, because we deal with so many people that they can't take. If you try to speak to them within a group, and it's not a positive way. Hey, if you say, hey, we need to fix that in our area, they will totally withdraw.
Yeah.
And
they taking it as an attack.
It's an attack.
Not an area for improvement. Not, hey, this could have been done better.
Right.
What can we do next time to make it better? No, they take it as I'm a failure. I ruined. I'm bad. I've done this wrong. They go in, and I wrote it down. They spiral into this thing of, I did it wrong.
Right.
I failed. And it's like, I'm just pointing out the fact that we made a mistake.
Right.
But we can fix this. How can we do it better? Not you're a failure as a whole. They take it on to themselves as this is identity.
See, and to my thing, that's trained behavior. That they're not just hearing your voice or your criticism or your constructive criticism. It joins the chorus. It joins this Greek chorus of voices of past parents, past relationships, of what other people have said, and then we're in this spiral. And as a leader or trying to work a team or trying to run a business, you're like, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? You're because they will withdraw into themselves, or sometimes they'll come out fighting.
They'll either fight or attack back.
Right.
Or they withdraw and quit. They withdraw and give up.
Right.
Or they withdraw and cry.
Oh, God help us, Jesus.
This is what happens.
Yeah, the crying thing. I can't take it. Okay. I can't take it when they start crying.
Me either.
I like.
That's why I have HR.
There's no crying in baseball. Okay, there's no crying in baseball. I can't take it.
HR handles that.
But what we're seeing, babe, is it's one of their things is it's not their fault.
It's not their fault
they were dropped.
But they do have to take responsibility on how they handled it. And we'll get to that later on when we deal with identifying the insecurity and how did they heal from it.
Okay.
We'll get to that later. But
because in the next segment I want to deal with because you dealt with one aspect of insecurity, but I also want to deal with the people who crave attention.
Well, that's next on my list. I only did one. I have like 6.
Okay, so we got to get to
6 ways to identify.
We got to take a quick break. We got to take a quick break. And please take a moment to subscribe, to like, and to share this conversation with somebody else. We need you. You're going to help us with this algorithm. You're going to help us to get our platform to the next level so that more people can start to get this kind of information. It really helps us when you do those small things. We'll be right back after this.
Join Dr. Chris Hill at Higher Level Denver. Inspirational, motivational, and elevational. At Higher Level, journey with us in reaching your highest potential in God.
Because when you go up, I go up too. When you get a promotion, I get a promotion too. When you go higher, we started at the bottom, now we're here. Everybody's going up. I need somebody who knows I'm going up. I'm going up with my family. I'm going up with my children. I'm going up with my church. We're all going up.
Join Dr. Chris Hill at Higher Level Denver this Sunday at 10 a.m. Higher Level Denver at the Roar Center, 3035 South Parker Road, Aurora, Colorado, 80014. See all that we're doing on the web at www.higherleveldenver.org.
And we're back.
We're back. Let's go.
We're back, and we're talking about how to identify if I'm being insecure.
This is getting good.
It's good.
It's getting good.
And the first one I said is the constant need for individualized attention.
So these are signs. These are markers that you're insecure.
That you may need to
You may be battling some insecurity.
Yeah, check.
Okay.
Let's check it out. The next thing is the continuous comparison of yourself to others.
Okay.
And I believe there is a little good in comparing a little bit, like, dang, that person is awesome. I want to be like that. Mm-hmm. What are they doing that I'm not, so I can be as great as them, or I can achieve some of the things they've achieved because those are in my goal. That is totally fine. But comparison in the way of where you're internalizing that this person is this way and I'm not.
Gotcha.
And I suck. And I'm a loser. Like taking it to the whole other extreme and comparing yourself with others. And especially in the sense of comparing yourself with someone whose experiences are well beyond yours.
Wow.
Well, they've experienced things on a whole other level than you have. They've experienced things to a greater, compass than you have.
Okay.
And you're comparing yourself. It's like a 3-year-old comparing themselves to a 30-year-old.
Right.
That's what I mean. Because this 3-year-old hasn't been through enough life.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
Right.
And so it's not even a good comparison to have.
Okay.
Like, why am I comparing myself if I am, let's just say I'm 22, fresh out of college, just starting life.
Right.
I have my degree. I'm trying to find that career path that I want to go on. But then yet I'm going to compare myself to a 45-year-old woman who has gone through her career, moved up in career in life, has a family with children, has ownership, run businesses. Why would the comparison? It's just not. It's not a fair. And so, when you are comparing yourself to people who you don't even know their life, you don't know their struggles,
and
you haven't walked in their shoes, you don't understand why they're where they are.
Of social media.
Yes.
Is we get to see everybody's highlight reel.
Yeah.
Okay. Very few people post their low moments.
No.
Now, unless they want to be a meme. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to be a meme crying. Okay. So for the most part, people put out there what's good stuff.
Yeah.
But if you have that insecurity that causes you to compare, then you're comparing without all the information.
Yes, without all the information. The next thing then too I have is
I like this.
Retreating in times of competition.
Okay, break that down.
It's when here is your time to shine.
Yeah.
You've been given a platform, you've been given an audience, you've been given a stage, you've been given, an opportunity to shine.
Right.
And there may be other colleagues, there may be other friends, there may be other family members who also have that opportunity at the same time. And you'll choose, knowing this is something you're passionate about, you choose to retreat.
Right.
You'll retreat from it.
Right.
And everyone's like, well, how come you didn't do A, B, and C?
Right.
You're good at that.
Right.
And you're like, oh, no, I don't want to. And you're like, and it just throws you off because you're like, that's kind of odd. Like.
It's a red flag of insecurity.
Yeah. Like,
so
you typically do this and why wouldn't you?
There's a job opportunity.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you take the
and
job?
They didn't apply.
Yeah. And it's like something they're great at,
in
and
their
they
wheelhouse.
They have experience, and they read the article or the job description, or they sat down and found out there are 25 others applying.
Got it.
And now, let me not go for it. There's too much competition.
Right. That insecurity can cause you to retreat, and you didn't even try.
Yeah. Without even trying.
And that's a definite red flag. How many times have you said no? How many times have you said no for somebody else? Rather than put yourself in a position where they could say no. Is you had the opportunity to fill out the application, you didn't. They had money for school, you didn't apply. They was hiring down there, okay? And you don't go.
It's that you don't want to hear the no.
Right.
You don't want to ever hear a no. You don't want to ever hear
again.
Ever. You don't ever want to hear you're second place.
Right. Wow.
You don't ever want to hear sorry, not at this time.
Right.
You don't ever want to hear no, not today.
It's real.
That's an insecurity.
No, that's real.
You have to be able to receive yeses and nos.
Wow.
Likewise in life. Like no one's going to go through life getting yeses to everything.
Wow.
It's just not going to happen. It's an unrealistic expectation. It's just unrealistic to even think that you're going to go through life and always get a yes, 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 yes.
Right.
Everything will be a yes.
Right.
There's going to be some no's.
Got to be some no's.
There's going to be some turn downs.
Got to be.
There's going to be some, not today. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. That's going to happen.
Right.
And so I notice people who have insecurity, like who struggle with insecurity, they struggle with ever hearing anything outside of a yes, great, awesome, yes.
Right.
So I have another one.
I'm glad. Go ahead.
Is your inability to produce, even in areas where you are usually and naturally a producer.
Wow. That's great. That's great.
This is the person I'm going to use, because I'm in the creative realm, this is the person that is a known stage singer for productions. They do Broadway shows. And when it comes time to audition for that show,
they don't show up.
They crack. They off key. They sound tone deaf, and you're like, what the heck is going on?
Right.
Like, you've seen this person, but when it comes down to this is when they have to do it.
Right.
This is your moment to produce.
Right.
They can't.
They're choked by their own insecurity.
Choked.
They're going back in time to that parent that said, I don't even know why you're trying to sing. You can't even really sing. Okay? But in the other setting, they're amazing. But when they get back and that light goes on, those floodlights come on, and they got the 3 people at the table, and they have the mic in their hand, there's an opportunity, and then they're choked by their own insecurity. And even though they didn't retreat, they didn't come out in
They
the best.
couldn't perform. They
Gotcha.
couldn't produce as they normally would.
That's deep.
They couldn't produce it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I see that
it
a lot.
It's the person that goes for the interview and then chokes in the interview, and we practice for 3 hours.
Exactly.
You know, and they had every answer. It's the person that has taken all of the pre SAT and had
scored
the classes
high.
right.
Scored high.
And
Okay, got a perfect score almost, and then they go and take the real test,
right.
and they fail it.
Freeze.
Yeah. Okay.
That's insecurity.
Yep. My last one.
All right, please.
I'm
This
sure
is
there are
good.
many more,
There's
but these
so
are
many
just the
more.
ones
These
I
are-
could think of off the top of my head.
These are good.
Needing constant over reassurance. If they don't clap all the time, you start to spiral into the, did I do it right?
Right.
Did I mess it up?
Right.
Did I do it wrong? If you don't get a clap immediately after your production, you're like, oh my God, did I mess it up? Oh my God, do they hate me? Oh my God, am they thinking I did it wrong? That you just start to like, oh my God, they hate me. Oh my God, they're gonna kick me out. Oh my God, they're gonna fire me. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my
Right.
job. Oh my God, they're gonna report me. You just start going to all of the worst things that it could possibly be. And it could be like, you did the job, good.
Right.
There's no need
Right.
to say anything because you did what was required.
Exactly.
But that insecurity will take you in this tailspin if you don't hear the words, great job, every single time, or that was awesome.
Right.
Thanks for hanging that picture on the wall.
Thanks for taking out the trash. You're
Thanks
the
for-
best trash taker
Yeah.
outer in the history of
If
the
they
world.
don't get an applause
Right.
at everything they do,
Clap it up.
then they start to spiral in their mind
my
and go
God.
down this rabbit hole
Right.
of darkness
Right.
and horrible down talking of their self.
Deep.
You know what I mean?
That inner voice.
Yeah, it's the bad one. It's the ugly one that just speaks negative. It doesn't speak life. It speaks death. It speaks negativity. It's just not good. And so I see that a lot with people. Like, you know, you may give them an assignment on the job and here's the assignment. Just make sure it's done by Friday.
Right.
You check on Friday, it's done. Great.
'Cause-
But if you don't email them and
Yeah.
say, oh, Susan, this was awesome. The first thing on the list that you did was amazing. And the third thing was even better. And the second thing was great. Thank you so much for completing all of your duties and tasks that are a part of your job description.
Right.
Then they're like, oh my God, I did all this work.
Right. Did anybody notice?
They didn't, oh man, she must didn't like it.
Right.
You know? Oh my God, are they gonna fire me? Oh my God, I didn't hear anything.
Right.
Oh my God. And it's like, oh my God, no. You just did your job. It's okay.
See, and I can almost always track it back to a parent.
Yeah, probably.
To a mother,
Most likely.
a father, grandmother, grandfather, somebody who was overly critical.
Overcritical.
Overcritical. You didn't feel like you could do anything right. And the bed was never neat enough. It wasn't, the sheets weren't folded, they weren't tight enough. They couldn't bounce a quarter off the sheets. The room was never tidy enough. The dishes were never clean enough. Your grades were never good enough. And so now you come into adulthood and you're starving for claps.
And you
likes,
need it.
Likes.
You need it. And if you don't get it, you just roll over and
now
spiral.
spiraling down. I posted this picture. Did anybody? No one saw it. Did no one mention my makeup?
How come no one's liking,
it's my
hearting?
fit. I mean, and we're building a culture
Come on.
of insecure people. We're building a culture that just everybody. I mean, we're insecurity on two legs, and to the fact that we got to have all kinds of outlandish surgery. We have to have all kinds of outlandish outfits. We have to have constant positive feedback on every little thing we do.
Or shaming. Or it's considered shaming.
Wow. So it becomes, if I don't get this,
then I'm being shamed.
Then I must be being shamed.
Yeah, I hate this whole new thing of shaming. It's, what do they call it? They have different ones. They have fat shaming, they have identity shaming, they have all these shamings. It's like, no one's shaming you. I'm just not applauding it.
Sometimes we just don't care.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just
no shame.
See, and this is the thing. When you're not insecure, you make music for you.
Yeah.
When you're not insecure, you draw for you.
Yeah.
You paint for you. You write for you. You do it because it's something that fulfills you. And whether they like it or not, they can like it or lump it. You can kiss my whole
left leg.
Yes, because I like me. I like me, and whether you like me or not,
it doesn't matter.
It's totally immaterial.
It doesn't factor into my.
And I want you. Hey, let's all do this together. But I really think that we've gotten to the place in our culture where we're not building enough personal self-esteem. What part of the word self-esteem did we leave off? It's called self-esteem. So that means that you need to have some yourself.
And it also means that you are the one who creates it. It has nothing to do with everyone else. No one else can build your esteem except for you.
Now,
comes from within.
But this is the thing: what if the people who were charged with doing that initially, okay, which is usually our parents or a parental group, because remember, as we've said, we're not born walking. We're not born able to fend for ourselves. We are born initially dependent on somebody else. And so in those early stages of our existence, if there's no one that says, you're gorgeous, that parental figure that says, hey, you're beautiful, you're smart, you was kind, you were smart, you are important. We need that initially to build that security. But when you didn't get it, and then you get pushed out into this world of competition and cutthroat and hate and Simon Cowell, and you get pushed out into this world of what is my favorite chef? Yeah.
Gordon
Ramsay, you donut, okay? He gonna call you a donut. And if you don't have enough esteem to be able to say, yeah, I'm the best glazed donut God ever, you have to have some personal self-esteem or this life will eat you alive.
Yeah, but you have to know, you have to create, I say you have to build stepping stones.
Okay.
And systems of prevention.
Okay, so we're gonna get to that. We got it, because my next question is, how do I heal from the roots of insecurity?
Oh, that's good. Okay, we're going to talk about that when we come back.
That's going to be the next thing we're going to talk about when we come back from this break. And we'll be right back after this.
All right.
Higher Level Denver is here. Join us as we go to the higher level. Higher Level Denver with Dr. Chris Hill.
But I'm about to get real free. Free in my mind, free in my body, free in my past, free in my future. I need a free person to give God a free praise right here.
We are friends of God, friends of man, and friends of humanity. Transform your life. Find your voice. Get ready to roar. Join Dr. Chris Hill at Higher Level Denver this Sunday at 10 a.m. Higher Level Denver at the Roar Center, 3035 South Parker Road, Aurora, Colorado, 80014. See all that we're doing on the web at www.higherleveldenver.org.
And we're back. This is Love the Real Hills. I'm Chris, and this is
Renee.
And we love you, and this is Love the Real Hills. Please follow, like, subscribe. We need your help. We need your help. Those little small things really do help with the algorithm and get us an opportunity to reach more people with really a life-changing and in a lot of ways life-saving message. This is something is how do you heal from the roots of insecurity? Now, babe, this is me, okay? This is me. I had to overcome being insecure. My dad walked out on my mom and my sister before I was even born. So when you're rejected from the beginning, you feel dropped. You feel like somebody who should care for you. I mean, he never called. He's no call, no show. He didn't send any money. Birthdays, Christmas, holiday, Father's Day was, I mean, a dark day for me. Every Father's Day, almost till I had kids. Once I had my own sons, I could create a different holiday. You know what I'm saying? But I know what it feels like to feel dropped. I felt dropped every birthday. I felt dropped every holiday. I felt dropped even seeing other kids with their fathers it was like a body blow. It was like a body blow. It was a crushing in the heart, and it messed with my self-esteem. What's wrong with me that my dad doesn't call? What's wrong with me that my dad doesn't care? Must be something wrong with me, and that's kind of, and so when other people came into my life and wanting to be father figures and wanting to be particularly men who would come into my life, I'm always waiting for them to reject me. I was waiting for them. I remember one of my pastors who I was studying under came in, and he was really willing to mentor me and to father me in a real way, and I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I was still in my shell of trying to, if I trust this guy and he rejects me too, it's gonna be even worse. You know, it was already terrible because of the biological connection, but now here's a spiritual connection, and I see, and how to overcome it is, first off, and I had to begin to experience some personal successes myself. Those personal successes began to build my own confidence and to build my own self-esteem. I began to have to think thoughts like, my dad missed an opportunity to have a relationship with me. Instead of me thinking, I missed an opportunity to have a relationship with him, I had to reset my thoughts on, I am valuable, I'm important. And man, he missed the opportunity to have a relationship with a great son. Boy, you want a son like me, okay? I'm a bad motor scooter. I had to build up my own self-esteem because I didn't have someone else to do it for me.
Okay, so let me ask the question.
Yeah.
Where did the thought come from that it must have been something you did? Because, so I'm just asking for the people in the world like me, because I never, my dad was gone.
Yes.
My dad wasn't around. He didn't raise me.
Right.
But I never had the thought in my mind that it was me or my fault in any way, shape, or form. That never came across. So where did that thought initially, even because you said as a child, where does that thought where did that come from? Was that something someone in your life fed to you? Because, for example, my mother, she never said a negative thing about my father, although she could have said many negative things.
Right, but she did.
She never did. So for me, I never had the thought that he wasn't around because of something I did, or why did he abandon me? Those thoughts never happened in my mind. So is this something that may have stemmed from someone else in your world that may have spoke these thoughts into your mind, because I just, sometimes I feel like the way God didn't create us to think of the negative first.
Right.
So I feel like sometimes some of these things we kind of have to really think back and address. Was it me talking, or was I receiving it from an outside source?
See, I think sometimes that outside source is the devil.
It could be.
It wasn't, there was no one else saying nothing.
Like a grandma, or you heard your aunties talking. Deadbeat, he just left you talking to your mama.
I'm the apple of my family's eye. Okay?
Nobody,
Everybody else in my family was crazy about me. Okay? And very, very positive. And I started doing, I was preaching at 4. And I'm moving and grooving and moving and scholarship and this and that. So I had a lot of positive feedback. But I think we discount, and this is the problem, is we discount the voice of the devil. Sometimes that negative narrative is from hell itself. Mm-hmm. That was just that demonic dark place, that dark voice saying, see, you'll never be nothing because your daddy don't even like you. And if you were something, your daddy would come along. And that fomented questioning myself. Mm-hmm. Now, my reaction to it was to overexcel. Okay? I overexcelled because I wanted to prove him wrong. But even that is not self-esteem.
Yeah.
Even that is not self-esteem.
Exactly.
Is having to be on every single honor roll and having to win every single award and having to run for every single office.
That was your blanket, your cover for the wall of insecurity that you had built.
That was insecurity. Mm-hmm. Because secure people can sit on a couch covered with peanut butter, okay, and call themselves a cracker. Come on, somebody. Secure people can jump back and kiss themselves. Their worth to themselves is not dependent upon what they do. It's dependent on who they are. So part of that, this is when we're talking about becoming secure. A lot of this is we have to silence the voice of the enemy, and I think it's a terrible thing.
That's what I was
where
getting.
We do not acknowledge that there is a demonic enemy and a demonic force. There is a dark world there, and he is the prince of the power of the air. And he will throw things in your head through the air that really don't even make sense. It wasn't like my mom ever said anything negative. It wasn't. There was no one around me. They kept me covered. When you get a call early, they keep you covered. And so I was covered and surrounded by very positive people. But that inner narrative was being dictated by an internal force. And until I was able to take every thought into subjection, and really, that just means to take that thought and say, hey, is that thought
positive or good?
Or is that thought even mine?
Yeah. Where'd that come from?
Where'd that come from?
I call it washing my mind.
Okay, talk about that.
When I was younger, if anybody said anything negative, I just don't like negative directed negativity. Mm-hmm. Like,
so
you're
take
ugly.
Right.
You stink.
Wow.
You're this or that.
Do you have to point at me when you say that? I don't like that.
See? I don't like that. Growing up, I grew up in Texas, and let me tell you, any Texans out there from the 90s and school in the 90s.
Terrible people.
Okay, we high side. You know what high side is?
No, I don't know what high side is.
That's where you like clown on each other for fun.
For fun?
Yeah, it's like jokes. You're just joking. But we know that. We
Capping, cracking
jokes.
Snapping.
I don't know what they call it everywhere else, but we call it high side. It's just what we do. It's not personal. It's not to be mean or anything. We just,
okay.
what's happening with your sweater today? You forgot to lint roller it or something? We'll just make up something, you know.
I thought I got all the lint off of it.
Exactly. See, you would be an insecure person in Texas.
In Texas.
You would not last 5 minutes.
I lived in Texas for 16 years.
You were grown.
And left. Because they's mean. Mean with your ushers. In your community. Your community and your ushers, your oil, your hair. Her. No, I got the hell out of her. I got out of there as quick as possible. I came to Colorado where people is nice here. People are nice here.
They are nice here.
Jesus.
I love it.
Okay, but go ahead. So you're in this high-sided community.
Yeah, but then, you know, I would see the kids, like I remember in 3rd grade, I remember this girl, they always talked about her. And Lord knows she did smell bad. She did.
Oh.
She did. But I always looked at her as a human person.
Okay.
And I would always say, well, maybe her mom didn't teach her about hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
So I made her my friend.
You made her your friend.
I just went over and started talking to her because, you know, I was like, I wouldn't say I was popular, but I was because I was an athlete.
Right.
And so a lot of people knew who I was. I didn't know who they were because I didn't really care like that. But if I went to go be her friend, then other people would become her friend.
Would consider her.
Yes. So what I did is I befriended her.
Okay.
And she was shocked that I did. So I befriended her so people would leave her alone. And I was like, say something else.
Right.
Because they thought I was like a fighter because, you know, I was small. So I would just be like, I will pop off in here, they thought. But I really wasn't.
Okay.
But I could because, you know, taekwondo and all of that stuff.
Okay.
So, and brothers and, you know, life.
Right.
But no, so I befriended her.
Okay.
And so I started being her friend and I started asking her, you know, about her life at home. And so I found out like she had 6 siblings, single mom. Most of the time they didn't have electric at their house.
Wow.
They didn't have hot water.
Right.
She wore the same like 3 outfits in rotation. So I found out all of this stuff.
So what did you do?
So I went home and I made a basket.
Okay.
I made a basket for her and I put soap and deodorant and toothpaste and toothbrush and socks.
Right.
And underwear.
I
didn't know underwear. You're not supposed to give underwear. How old I was a kid.
How old were you?
I was like 3rd grade.
So
maybe
8?
What grade? 8, 9? I don't know.
8 or 9. You made her a basket.
Yes, and I just gave it to her. I brought it to school, and I got in trouble, but I'll tell you why. But I brought it to school and gave it to her, and I was like, okay. And I went in the bathroom with her, and I showed her. I was like, okay, so you use this soap, you wash. I even gave her a face cloth, like a washcloth, because I didn't know if she had one.
Right.
Because her story, she would tell me, it didn't seem like they had much.
Right.
And so I was always raised that you help the needy. You give to the poor.
Right.
You know, I grew up in church and we were always, you know, volunteering and donating and giving stuff.
See, babe, that's why I love you, because I don't have a story like that. I don't. If you stank and you was in school with me, you just stank. Okay? You just stank. I needed Jesus. I found Jesus for a reason.
I have multiple of these
stories.
I know you do. But this girl in particular.
And that's why it's so good.
I remember I started bringing outfits to her so she could be cute in what was in fashion. Because her stuff was still kind of like out of date too and stuff. So I would bring outfits. I would get in trouble. My mom.
So you're giving away your clothes?
I was giving away like my new stuff. Like I wasn't going in my closet and saying, okay, I don't wear this anymore.
Right.
I was giving her the stuff that I would wear.
Right.
Because, you know, I was taught you bring your first, you give your best.
Right.
If you have it, you give it.
Right.
So, and my mom wasn't mad at me because she didn't, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm a single mom.
Right. She's a single
I
mom.
just paid for them. I just brought you that outfit and them shoes. You can't be giving stuff away, you know. So then when I told my mom about the girl, she was like, oh, okay. So then she was like, okay, let's go get this bag of clothes you don't wear anymore.
Right.
And let's give those away. You know what I mean? And so anyways, I started, you know, she taught me how to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to put my mom in a position where now we're struggling because I'm giving away everything she's buying.
Right.
But I was
good.
saying that, but I just started telling her, she's like, everyone talks about me and they call me stinky. And I was like, well, and I told her, I'm like, yeah, because you kind of smell like, you know, you peed on yourself. I had to tell her.
Right.
And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, did you pee on yourself? She was like, no. And I was like, well, you know, my mom told me, you know, you have to take a bath every day. Every day before you go to bed, you take a bath and you put on clean underwear, you know? And she was like, oh, well, I only have 2 pairs.
Right.
And I was like, well, I gave you some. And they're clean. My mom just washed them. That's what I told her. You know, I was like, my mom just washed them. They're clean. So you can wear them every day, a different pair, and then you wash them.
Right.
And then you wear them again after you wash them. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, not only did she not have, but because of the lack, her mom didn't even have the ability or whatever she was going through.
That's what I'm saying.
To tell her what to do.
That's what I'm saying,
know?
is that we're dealing with people who have been dropped.
Yes.
They have been dropped.
Yeah.
Their parents were deficient. I mean, don't get me started. It's like the human species is born dependent upon the parent. And if the parent is deficient mentally, financially, mentally, or spiritually, and most of the people I'm watching, I'm dealing with a generation that has emerged, and their parents taught them next to nothing.
Nothing.
Next to nothing, and then released them out into the world, and then now they're being called, in this situation, stinky.
Yeah. And we're running out of time, and I
Oh, my
want to
God.
give them some ways to heal.
How to heal.
From the insecurity. One thing is I call washing your mind.
Wash your mind.
This is where no matter what comes through, no matter what comes in your head, if it is not positive, if it's not speaking positivity into you, you need to take that thought and throw it out, throw it in the trash can, wash it, and replace it with something positive.
Yes.
The next thing, another thing that I use, I would say, is I create systems to prevent other areas of insecurity, or prevent areas of insecurity that I've dealt with from coming back. So that's like, I'm going to build stepping stones and blocks and systems in place that, okay, in the event that this may happen again, I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. So if someone does something that's hurtful or says something hurtful to me, I'm not going to retreat.
Right.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to let them know.
Right.
I'm going to say, hey, you know what? You said that. It hurt my feelings. It was kind of hurtful. What are you trying to say? What is it that you want me to understand by you saying that? And so that takes, that you have to put that system in place. Another way I feel like you can heal from insecurity is addressing your walls of insecurity that you have already, addressing them one by one head on, finding out the root of it, where it came from.
Then that's mine. Yeah.
Find out where it came from, where it first stemmed, and then addressing it with that person, that whoever, whatever. If you
even
can't,
if they're dead.
If you can't, yes. And if you can't physically talk to them, let's talk to them, give it to God, let it go, and move forward.
Let's identify it.
Yes.
I had to identify that was the voice of the enemy trying to get me to not value myself.
Yeah.
And that was keeping me. But I want to add this one, is allow other people in your life.
Yeah.
You need mentors. YouTube is a fantastic resource of mentorship in a bunch of areas. You can learn a lot, but there's nothing like having people in your life.
Yeah.
I think we're a great supplement. We're a great vitamin, okay? But there's nothing like eating an apple, okay? Apple, an organic apple is going to be much better than the supplements. Now, YouTube is a great resource, and we're here, and we love you, and we're for you. We want you to ask all the questions you can, but allow people into your life.
Allow people into your life that you know, whether they say good or bad, you know they have your best interest at heart, and they're only going to say it to make you better.
Completely.
Well, with that being said,
Man,
guys,
we're out of time.
it's been a great talk about battling insecurity. We will see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Click the button. Tell people about it. Send in your comments. Send in your topics that you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
We are here for it. We're ready. And we will see you next time.
Next time.
On Love the Real Hills.
Love the Real Hills. We'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.